Hey everybody, today I want to talk about the question of what do you do if you have a tight foreskin? It's one of those things that people talk about, and it's one of the scare tactics that many people say, oh, you're going to get phimosis, and foreskin's too tight and all this kind of thing. So let's talk about that a little bit. So, first of all, in a child, up until puberty, more or less on average, it can be sooner, it can be later, the foreskin is supposed to be tight. It is normal to not be able to retract it at all. I myself, as I've mentioned before, I didn't retract until I was 15, almost 16. Now, anytime up until the age of 18 is totally normal. The foreskin is made to protect the head of the penis, and it only gradually becomes ready to retract over a period of months or years, and this is a physiological process. It doesn't necessarily happen overnight. And this is normal. This is why people that try to say a child or teenager has phimosis is completely wrong and doesn't know anything about the intact penis, because at this age, as we've just talked about, it's not supposed to retract, or if it's later, then you're in the process of starting to retract. So that's completely normal. Those kinds of things are things that people have forgotten, because when you have the vast majority of a population is circumcised, they don't know how the foreskin is supposed to develop over the teenage years. Okay, so first of all, it's supposed to be tight, not supposed to be retractable in a kid. It's just not. Now, of course, when it first starts retracting, it's going to be tighter because it's never stretched over the head before. But over time, it will gradually loosen up, and it'll slide back and forth over the head just fine. Now, for those people that are the exception, and maybe they have a foreskin that is tighter than what is typical, there are some things that they can do. Okay, so first of all, circumcision is never needed. It's not an option. People will try to, anybody that thinks there's a problem, that's their first go-to. Oh, gotta be circumcised. No need for that. If your foreskin is tight, and this is, after you're an adult, and it still doesn't retract easily, well, take the overhang, the part at the end, and kind of try to stretch it. You can kind of gradually stretch it apart. Don't do it so much that it hurts yourself, but just a little bit at a time, pull it out away from the penis, pull it up that way, go wherever the opening is, and also kind of stretch it outward a little bit. Maybe eventually you can get a finger in there and start to kind of stretch it a little bit. You can use some lotion or some cream, perhaps, but I would suggest doing something very mild. You don't want anything that has a lot of chemicals or a lot of, what should we call it? Odors, scents, things like that. That can be very irritating. But a cream, maybe something like Cetaphil, that's a nice mild lotion that doesn't have scents and things like that. Something like that might be helpful. And as you do that, little by little, that opening will gradually open up, and you'll be able to retract back and forth just fine. Like I said, this is only, it's not essential that you're able to retract. The foreskin still glides over the head even if it's not retracting. So if it's not bothering you, then don't even worry about it. Don't listen to the scare tactics that people that are trying to push circumcision try to say. Don't even worry about that. However, if it's bothering you or causing you pain because it's tight, or if you yourself just want to be able to retract, after you're an adult there, then go ahead and try to, like I said, try to stretch out the opening a little bit, little by little, and it'll work just fine. And it may take a little bit of time, but you don't want to do it too much and cause tears or rips or tears in that foreskin. So hopefully that will help and answer that question, what to do if my foreskin is tight. So that's all for today, and I'll see you again soon.